What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse, the Batman Who Laughs, the first time we get him in action figure form. And so here we have the Batman Who Laughs posed and out of the packaging. Before we have a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what he comes with. The Batman Who Laughs does come with the final piece of the Batmobile, so we'll have a better look at when that's all put together. As far as his accessories go, the Batman Who Laughs does come with 3. He comes with his knife, which has a lot of nice little detail. He also does come with a sickle, which is the same really nice detail on it. And then he also does come with a McFarlane DC base. Other than that, the Batman Who Laughs doesn't come with anything else. It would have been nice to see him with some little robins that he could have standing next to him, but hopefully we get those at some point. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually move on to his detail. And so here we have a closer look at the Batman Who Laughs, and my goodness, did McFarlane put a lot of love into this figure. Out of the 3 figures I've had to look at, I think the Batman Who Laughs is my favorite out of the 3. Nightwing was pretty good, Batgirl was alright. Batman Who Laughs is great. There's really hardly anything I don't like about him. So let's actually take a look at his detail really fast. That smile, that is a creepy ass smile. That looks so maniacal, so sinister. I just love the detailing in it. It's glossy on the inside, so it does look like it's wet, but those teeth are just so gnarly. They're like a off ivory color. They're discolored. I love it. There's really hardly anything not to love about the Batman Who Laughs. I do like the detail on the cowl part. We'll get on to a look right here on his visor in a little bit. But you can see some wrinkles underneath his cowl, so I do appreciate that little detail, even going all the way around. The Batman Who Laughs cowl is nicely detailed. As far as this little torture device goes, that little metal plate with spikes going all the way around, they did a really good job with it now. Parts of it are softer plastic, as you can see. That little spike is softer plastic, so that one will flex, so you don't have to worry about poking yourself. But there are a couple of spikes on him that are very sharp, like this one right here. The ones on the side of his head right here. They don't have any give to them. They actually do poke, so do be aware of how you're gripping his head. The ones on the side seem like they have the less give, but the ones going to the front and toward the back look like they do have some give. So do be careful when posing him around. As far as his costume here goes, they did a really outstanding job with his jacket. You can see all the strap work going on it, and the straps have detail. His buckles are nicely painted. All the little stitches and buttons and clasps on his jacket, they look really good. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that his jacket is a rubber overlay, and when I initially got him out of the packaging, his jacket was actually shifted up like that, so it looked like he didn't have a neck. I've had this guy for a full week, and it barely dawned on me that you can push that jacket down, and boom, his neck appears out of the blue. So if it looks like yours doesn't have a neck, just pull this piece down and his neck will appear. Trust me. It took me a full week to figure that out. So just be aware that his jacket might be riding up high. As far as his arms go, I really love the sculpt work on them. He's spindly, he's lanky, he's very gaunt. There's really hardly anything not to love about this figure's detail. McFarlane put a lot of care into this figure. You can see he does have some buckles right there. He is wearing some gnarly white gloves, which really does offset the costume. Seeing all this black and metal, and then you see white, pure white gloves, and that's really creepy looking for some reason, at least to me. Going on to the back of his jacket, we do see it's all tattered. You can see there is a little bit of wash detailing in it, a lighter, it looks like gray, maybe a slate. So they did actually put some dry brushing into his jacket, and you can see it's all torn and tattered. I really do like that. Just a really good job here on the Batman Who Laughs. He is just wearing black pants, but again, he is a really lanky, gaunt looking character, and I really do like that. His boots, you can see his laces are done really well. Going on to the side, you can see he does have a boot with a strap, and then the clasp right there is painted on both sides. He does have a strap going across, which is actually black, and then he has like his pants are like a gray color. They're not pure black like the jacket, so there is some color offset on him, but it all looks black when you have him just standing there. But he's a really awesome looking figure, and I do have to give credit where credit is due. McFarlane knocked it out of the park with this guy. So with the Batman Who Laughs detail out of the way, let's actually get him compared to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have the Batman Who Laughs posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a Mattel DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have him posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have the Batman Who Laughs posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we have the Batman Who Laughs posed next to a DC Collectibles Essentials Joker and the NECA 2-pack Batman. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually look at his articulation. Now, the Batman Who Laughs does have some issues with his articulation, mainly right here in his abdomen. It is hindered because this is a separate appliance. It is soft, but it's not soft enough here in the front, and we'll go over that in a little bit. Again, his jacket is a loose appliance, so if you want to free up his neck joint, just push his jacket down, and that should give you some optimal range for his head. As you can see, he can look up really well. He can bury his head very well. Really do like that. Does turn left and right. Again, be careful on how you grab it because 4 out of all these spikes are really solid, so be careful on how you turn his head, but it does rotate left and right. He does have a double ball joint in the head and in the neck, so we get a lot of good range here. You can see he leans side to side, no problem. Just, that is so creepy. I love it. He does have a ball joint here in the shoulder, which does go back and forward, does pivot up and down, works much better than Nightwing and Batgirl, so I do like that. Does go all the way out to the side, no problem. Does a full 360. But this isn't the softest rubber in the world, so it does kind of jet his arm out, so do be aware of that, but it does go all the way around. We do have a swivel up here in the bicep, double bend in his long, lanky elbows, so that's done really well. Ball hinge right here in the wrist, so that does move up and down, no problem. You can rotate that for an in and out hinge or up and down, depending on how you want it, and it does rotate on that peg. Now, I can't quite figure out what he has going on right up here. It does feel like he has somewhat of an abdomen joint right up here, although it doesn't want to move too much. He's pretty much hollow right here. He doesn't have a midsection. You can see I can squeeze it right here, and there's nothing there. It does seem like it's softer right here in the back, and that's probably why he has more movement going in the back. But it does rotate pretty well. No problems there. He does go back quite a bit, as you can see. Now, he would have the same forward mobility if that jacket wasn't so thick. You can see it does bend, but he kind of goes back up to a certain point. So you can get him to bend slightly, but it's not perfect, unfortunately, because it's just a little bit too thick right there. Legs do kick forward better than 90 degrees. I do like that. They kick back pretty well, go out to the side, and not the best. Out of all the outward movement, his has been the worst so far. We do have a slight thigh swivel, which really doesn't work. They need to re-engineer that hip. But he does have a double bend in the knee, and it's a really good joint. You can see his knee goes all the way back, no problem. No boot swivel, but we do have rotation here at that ball joint. It does hinge back and forth, no problem. And then we can rotate it so we get a true rocker ankle. So I do like that. And then we get a toe hinge, which does work surprisingly well. So overall, the Batman Who Laughs is an amazing figure, and I'm really glad we finally got a toy of this character. So what we're going to do now is get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Batman Who Laughs posed for my final thoughts. Overall, out of the 3 McFarlane figures I've had a look at, I think the Batman Who Laughs is probably the strongest out of the 3. Great articulation, great sculpt. I would say paint apps are minuscule, but the paint that is on him is perfect. All the studs and the stitches, they all work for this figure, and I do like the fact that we do have a little bit of contrast with the black and the really dark gray for his pants. Now, I have seen a lot of people online bash McFarlane's DC Multiverse line without even giving it a chance, so I don't know if collectors are looking for this line to fail or they're just not giving it a chance. I gave it a chance. There were a few figures that I have my doubts on that are really good, but the Batman Who Laughs here is one of the better figures that McFarlane has made. His articulation is on par with just about anything you can think of. Aside from his scale, I think he's still a wonderful figure. I know there's a lot of people that don't want a 7-inch figure, but I think he works for what he is. I would love to see McFarlane tackle more of the Dark Knights from the Metal series. If you haven't read that book, definitely go out and try reading it, because I think it's one of the better stories DC has put out there. And if you haven't read any stories with the Batman Who Laughs, I would strongly recommend you do, because he's such an interesting character. Although I would like to see some of his little Robins down the road that we can give to him, I still think on his own, he's still a superb figure. If you're having any doubts about the McFarlane line, I think the Batman Who Laughs is probably a standout of what the line is capable of. So if you haven't already done so, track this guy down. I think out of the 3, he's going to be the hardest one to find. Luckily, I was able to find my Batman Who Laughs at my local comics book store. So huge shout out to Asylum Comics for getting this out to me so I could review it for you guys. The Batman Who Laughs is part of the Collect-to-Build Batmobile, so he will be running you $25 instead of the average $20, which is a fair price, seeing as how the Batmobile is actually a really good figure on its own, but the Batman Who Laughs just is a great figure. If you can find him, definitely don't pass up on him. Pick him up. And this is KingofDragons 5000 saying don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other McFarlane DC figures. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you'd like to see me review, let me know down in the comments. And if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, don't forget to check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos. And as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.